stock that is about to explode to the upside, in my opinion. It's NTLA. It is a CRISPR stock. CRISPR is a gene editing technology. It's basically like the machine learning, the AI of big pharma. So it's a huge growth opportunity. People are really excited for the life-saving opportunity that can come from the development of this biotechnology. And if you like videos like that, hit that like button, help the YouTube algo find and disseminate this video, and let's jump in.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So here is a little bit about the company, and just to get zoned in here and hyped up.
So tell us first of all, just briefly, if you may, what is so new and groundbreaking about this treatment, this development?
Right, so this is the first systemic administration of CRISPR where we actually infused it into the body and inactivated a disease-causing gene in a very, very targeted fashion. And what's particularly exciting about that is that we were able to essentially
inactivated
that gene.
Never heard that.
See that in the clinical effects of these patients. So a major advance in the gene editing space.
To what extent can this be applied to other diseases as well? Is it very broad or quite targeted in terms of what it can be used?
AK, what's the total addressable market?
CRISPR itself can be broadly applied. The challenge is getting it to those particular genes that cause disease. So we started in the liver, which is an area where there are many problems with disease-causing genes, and we've shown that we can reach that very, very successfully. There's other tissues after that we're pursuing, especially the bone marrow, where a long list of blood-borne type diseases can be addressed. And then after that, there's a lot of work going after defective genes in other tissues.
Okay, so the argument for this company having further growth is strong, even though it's clinical stage. So their breakthrough might be applied broadly. And we saw a video, we saw a little bit about what they do, what they are. Why are we talking about it? Well, if we really zoom out on a 5-year chart, we're finally sort of breaking out of a downtrend, okay, with a lot of increasing volume. It's happened slowly over the last 2 years, but suddenly within the past year, and really within the past month, is looking pretty exciting. So this is the volume, September 15th, and if we pull up some sort of just news stream of Intellis, well, Intellia, I should probably say their name right, otherwise they're not going to let me get some employee shares or anything like that down the road. This is a big deal, okay? Anytime you see phase 3, that is serious progress. They completed just patient enrollment, and they're going to report top-line data in the first half of 2026. So that did get coupled with some of these price target raises. They're all sort of, in bed with each other. I'm sure, the investment banks work for these companies. They sponsor their conferences, whatever. They're all together. It's obviously all for a good cause in the end, but we do have to be a little cautious saying September 25th, positive longer-term phase 1 data. And if we look at September 25th, now we're up here, and it actually sold off on the data. So the phase 3 enrollment September 17th was important right here. But then, data itself can be a little bit sell the news. So all that to say, this is the actual press release direct from the company. This is from where it got disseminated. I don't know why these are in reverse chronological order, but sometimes stuff like that happens, depending on who they paid to promote the company. Because at the end of the day, this is still just a stock. It has executives. They're paying people to disseminate that information. They might be on the payroll. It's above the board, investor relations and all that, marketing services. But the point is, we're not really here to be Mother Teresa or anything like that. We're just trying to see, we can do that on our own time. Do you want to buy this company because you think the stock's going to come up? And there are concerns with buying pharma and biotech companies. I mean, HIMSS is obviously not as sort of wholeheartedly exciting because they do like basically boner pills and stuff. But this thing dropped down a bunch on this no longer, total support from Novo Nordisk on their Wegovy GLP Ozempic product. So I should give them a little more credit. They also help with weight loss, which is super helpful as a precautionary step towards not getting all these diseases. But it is exciting to see a company that specifically is deep in the weeds of helping turn off these genes. So anyway, we're stoked on the technology. We're stoked on the volume. This is September 18th. This is the phase 3 enrollment. That's extremely scary if you're short and you hear phase 3. You don't want to touch it. And we're longs here, so we do want to get in and risk $1 or so, and and make a few dollars, if not a lot more. So in terms of levels, if we go back to 6 months ago, a little more than 6 months ago actually, these guys probably sold down here, but there may be some bag holders here. So this volume profile is sort of relevant. So all that to say, if you risk $1 and you can pick your left side peak, whether it's this one at 1630, or maybe it's this one at 1770, depending on where you see this video, if we've already gone up a little bit or if we've gone down and consolidated, or this could just sell off. Okay, that happens, right? 50% or more of these ideas are wrong, and I believe I'm in the top decile of, I'm definitely in the top 10% of stock idea people, but I'll take what I can get. Throw me a bone, say I'm in the top 50%, maybe I'll like your comment. Here's the deal: get in this, you risk $1, you make 10. That's the name of the game. And even if you just get a 3-day burst, it might not be on a news event like this. Here we're kind of looking for a momentum event, so it's more like kind of a flag like this, where a momentum event is like this. It's a little choppy, but if you're in there for 3 days, 5 days a week, you can still get that 10% or more. I mean, this is actually a lot percentage-wise. It doesn't look like a lot, but for a company to basically go down 70% and then go back up 180%, of course, to get to the same price that you went down 70%, you actually have to go up 350%, which is why drawdowns are so impactful and deleterious. This is the opportunity, okay? Risk $1 and you might get stuffed out, you might not, but it's a tight flag. Looks like this, roughly. That's kind of what we're seeing here. And the more people see that, the more it is self-fulfilling and likely to actually happen. Might be boring not to invest in the technology itself. Might be boring to have risk levels, but I promise you, making money is anything but boring. So that is the stock. It's a little bit about what they do. CRISPR, okay. We don't have to really pretend that we're biotech heads. I mean, this is so basic that even if we pretended, people would laugh at us anyway. But the phase 3 is a big deal, and yes, they're losing a bunch of money. They did have some revenue, so that shows some promise. But with biotechs, you kind of just have to throw the money losing out of the window, because that's what they do for like 8 to 10 years, and then they get acquired, or they start selling a drug and have billions of dollars in revenue all of a sudden, or they get into some sort of royalty agreement with like a Pfizer or a Novo Nordisk and license their technology and get milestone payments for 30 million and then 100 million, and it's a real lumpy sort of revenue cycle. So they're a big market cap company, and they just had that phase 1 data come out, which they sold the news, so it came down a little of that. But that phase 3 enrollment has happened, and now we just have to see what exactly happens. These are its competitors. I don't know why I'm highlighting phase 1, just sort of to highlight that that's what I'm talking about. But we can look at these tickers quickly. CRSP, Beam, and Edit. Edit is a cool name for a CRISPR company, right? Edit looks like it is turning up. Actually, it looks okay for sure. CRSP, they all look sort of similar. Beam is probably the least interesting of them, just because it's gone sideways for so long. So maybe you're getting a bounce off the moving average, but it's kind of choppy. So I don't really know what to do with that. So these ones, though, slightly more interesting, but also not a ton of volume at all. 5 million, 50 million a day compared to the one we're talking about, which is up in the 150 million, 200 million a day. So this can have more momentum. There's going to be more eyes on it, and that's why we're talking about it right here. Gave the price levels, gave the possible rewards, sort of talked about where to risk off of, although these people probably sold, so this is more visual rather than actual volume, although we can see it up there. So do be aware, if it gets up to 23, you have to be ready to see if it's going to be worth selling some. So this may be boring, but this is the name of the game. And these are big companies, okay? Pretty big companies. And of course, the risks, we talked about HIMSS. There could be challenges where biotechs just gap up based on weird trial results, bad trial results. There can also be regulation that is applied to this specific company, or just like the basket of companies working on this CRISPR. So, you know, gene editing is pretty publicly controversial. So anything could happen there. And then there was this as well in 2024. That's with RGON. So March of 2024. Let's take a look at that. March 2024 for this company, RGEN, would have been back here. So this actually didn't really have any sort of major issue. I mean, definitely went down, but it wasn't like a type of HIMSS sort of down. It was just a horrible gap down overnight. So you at least have time to get out. And then over here, yeah, this is sort of down after this lost the partnership. So definitely had an effect, but it sort of gave you a chance to get out. I know this doesn't look pretty to go down like, you know, 10% a day, but I'm just giving you just how scarring this can be. I mean, just imagine losing, you know, whatever this is. This is 30%, 40% in like overnight. So all this to say, there's a ton of opportunity to do biotechs, but you have to be really careful with position sizing. So if you like these sort of warnings, if you like these sort of stock ideas that are very optimistic, giving, you know, ideas of bias, but also some context, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out for 7 days for $25. We're trying to beat the market over the course of a year. If you're looking for like daily, you know, intraday ideas, the stock just went up 200%. You know, that's not really the vibe here. And idyllically, the people who work in this community are maybe a little more busy, because if you're more busy, then you're not distracted by the hot stock of the day, and you actually probably over the long term have better returns, which is what we're all about anyway. Not losing a bunch of money day trading. So give it a shot. It's $25. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that. And I will see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.